worked in Miami as a member of U.S. Marine Corps Forces South. I retired in 2016, and I felt compelled to serve because I've said this before. We all know what happened in November of 2016. In October, I knocked divorce for the very first time in my life for Hillary Clinton. And from there, I decided to serve in a different capacity. I started as a precinct captain. I wanted to engage, mobilize, and inform voters in my community. And so I started as a precinct captain. And then I was founder of my own Democratic organization, the Democrats 408, and I am president to this day. And they are endorsing me as well. I had nothing to do with that. I recused myself on that vote. In 2020, I was the chair of the committee that sought to recall Miami City Commissioner Joe Carollo. And in 2022, I got together with other activists. We decided to form a messaging coalition called the Win with Integrity Now Florida Voter Messaging Coalition. And I still run that as its executive director. In 2023, I served as a legislative aide in the Florida House. And then later that year in December, I got my PhD in international relations with an emphasis on political economy. And in 2024, I worked on Mayor Lee Kavanagh's re-election campaign, as well as the campaigns for the constitutional offices in November. And then finally, later on, earlier this year, I was asked to step on as the interim vice chair for the Florida Coalition to Advance Racial Equity, which I do that as well. Last year, I ran in the city of Miami for Commission District 3, and I learned a lot, and it just fueled my passion to serve. In my opinion, running for elected office is like a culmination of being a grassroots organizer. So when I found out that there was no one in this particular race, the County District 5, that espoused the values of compassion, dignity, and equity, I said, okay, I could not let that stand. I'm throwing my hat in this race. So here I am. And what I plan to do when I'm on that days boils down to 5 things. First thing, I'm going to demand accountability and transparency, starting with me. I plan to let my constituents, all of Miami, know exactly what I'm doing on that days, my progress, how I'm going to get things done via weekly email updates that I send already in my capacity. And I've been doing that since 2019. No reason to stop now. I'll also have at minimum monthly town halls where I can let my constituents and all of Miami know what's going on and how Miami government works or doesn't work. I will also be working to introduce legislation to make the public budgeting process a little bit more transparent and accessible to people of Miami-Dade. And the next pillar of mine will be, it will be to end special interest influence at Miami County Hall. Behold the special interest. Well, bye-bye, special interest. So the third thing on my pillar is to expand affordable housing and to lower costs. And here in Miami-Dade, we have a lot of resources that we have to lower the cost of housing. And we have the ability to fund community land trusts. We have the ability to fund renovation of vacant land, as well as to renovate accessory dwelling units, ADUs. So I plan to make it my mission to work those nonprofit solutions and rely a little less on the for-profit developers, the ones who are looking to appeal to luxury owners, to corporate investors, and the real estate speculators who simply just increase demand, drive up home values and home prices as well. So the fourth thing I'll be doing is I will be looking to facilitate the wealthy paying their fair share. So I plan to introduce legislation to bring about a revenue generating task force of experts that can review Miami-Dade's true fiscal posture its financial posture, and make recommendations to the commission as to how we can raise revenue, expand the revenue base in order to provide the things that residents need. And everything will be on the table, whether it be a 1% luxury tax, tweaking the property tax rates for high wealth individuals, franchise fees for high wealth industries within the county. And the final thing I'll be doing is I'll be expanding climate resiliency, funding our infrastructure, as well as reducing, increasing flood protection. Miami-Dade County has a lot of resources. They currently have good plans in order to mitigate the effects of extreme weather events. So what I plan to do is I plan to ensure that the funding is there to expand that work, to make it go even further, as well as introducing legislation to increase violations to polluters to the bay, as well as being able to create programs to finance, to help homeowners finance the increasing resiliency, making their homes more resilient to extreme weather events. So those 5 pillars, and I'm happy to take questions if I have time.
No, we're limited time, but
Okay.
it's going to talk about your day of action and the meet and greet.
Yeah, sure.
We have a lot of yes. This is Rob Piper.
You will not have a T, there will not be a T or an R
Next to their names because it's a non-party race. So it's very important to tell your friends, Rob is the only Democrat in the race. And on top of it, he supports our values and he's a hardworking community activist. We need him. Okay, moving forward, Linda's gonna talk about the upcoming 2 Rob events and then something else.
Okay, first, yeah. We didn't have time for Rob to answer questions, but he's gonna be at our day of action this Saturday at 1200 West Avenue, where we'll be texting and calling Democrats and non-party affiliates. Rob will be there, so you can ask him all the questions you like. And then the following Wednesday at my home, July 15th, there will be a meet and greet for Rob at my home from 6 to 8, and that'll be informal. Several of you have been to these at my home before, and of course, we'll be able to ask Rob any questions there. So the key thing here is the day of action. So we're doing that one July 11th, and then we'll have more in September. Tim's going to talk more about other opportunities to volunteer. We have an important election here, folks. We have a chance, our big speaker tonight, we have a chance to maybe get a Senate seat. That's pretty exciting. Yes. We have to make and we have to make sure we keep the House seat. We have some exciting candidates running for our House seat. Larkin and
Moskowitz.
Thank you, Moskowitz. I got a text from him today. But anyway, so those are the 2 Democrats running. We got to make sure we win those. It'd be great to get Rob in the county council, so the county commission. But anyway, neither here nor there. We need money tonight. We put out $300 worth. You ate it all in 5 minutes. So we put a little bit more. We need money just to be able to have these events here, to be able to pay for the tech services, and all the IT stuff we have to do to be able to campaign. And so on our website, you'll see we have what we call a PAC. That means we can then go after non-party affiliates. We also just have our general donations, which helps the club. So we're asking you to think seriously about making some donations to our club, because we just can't afford everything. And we haven't had a big fundraiser in a while. Hopefully we'll have one in the future. But anyway, we're asking, okay, I'm turning it over to you, Tim. Anyway, please consider donating to the club. Thank you. All right, Tim.
It's my job to kind of pick on everybody tonight, because we started something called the summer promotion, started on June 1, runs through the summer. We're asking people, because people are away, people are on vacation, it's summer, we're not going to get up the number of meetings that we have. So we ask people to join the summer challenge, and it runs from June 1 through September. And we're asking people to sign up to it and make either 10 text messages or 10 phone calls a day to a list of people that we're going to, I'm sorry, a week, sorry. Which is not much. I mean, the phone calls take longer than text. I do phone calls, and 10 or 20 phone calls takes maybe 45 minutes, half an hour. And if you spread it out over a few days, it's a few minutes a day. And I've been quite successful with reaching out to people and telling them specifically about the problem with the nonpartisan race for county commission. People are astounded by that. They don't know about it, and we're anxious to hear about it. So it's a good thing to be in touch with those people. If you want to sign up, we're anxious to have you. And if you come to the day of action on Saturday, then you can sign up at that time too. So otherwise, voter registration, we're a little off right now, but we did do something in front of the Fillmore. There's a line of people waiting to get into a concert, young people. We got several people to sign up for voter registration there. We're going to do a couple of concerts coming up as we progress through the summer. And I am already making inroads to what is our most successful voter registration effort at all, and that's for the new inbound fellows, they call them, to the fall season fall semester at New World Center. But otherwise, we need people to volunteer. There's only, out of our whole club, there's only 10 people who are in that program for the summer challenge. So please, take a few minutes. It's a worthy call.
Yeah.
One of our super VR people that were at the Fillmore with him. So yep, he's everywhere. You did 3, right? That night 3, you got 3. Yeah, young people.
And recently at my yoga studio.
There you go.
Yeah, I got somebody.
Great. Next we have Transition Inc. With Ashley and Steven. I'm not gonna say too much. But they are a nonprofit based in Miami, and they help formerly incarcerated individuals find jobs through training, placement, and support services. And they operate as the Offender Service Center for South Florida's workforce. And this is some great work, and we really appreciate everything they do. Great.
Hi, my name is Ashley Lewin Diego. You guys know me as running for office, right? I'm running for the Florida State House. That's where I have been here before, but I'm here tonight actually in another capacity, which is my heart. I'm the president of the board of this nonprofit. It's called Transition. Stephen Gilmore is our executive director. Transition sits in the heart of Overtown, and we help people when they get out of jail find jobs. It sounds simple and easy, but it is not. People come to Transition when they are at the worst moments in their lives, when they are down, when everything is hard. And because of Stephen and all of the amazing staff at Transition, everybody who walks in the door is treated with the respect that they deserve, all the services they need to truly succeed so they can actually get a second chance at life. This isn't lip service to something. What Stephen does and the organization in Transition, they really change lives. And it is so impactful to meet a person who has been through transition, a returning citizen, somebody who's been changed by Stephen and the staff at Transition. So I will turn it over to him.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. I am more energy than that.
I know this is a PowerPoint presentation. I won't take too much of your time. I'm Stephen Gilmore, and I proudly serve as Executive Director of Transition. As Ashley stated, it's a nonprofit employment agency. We hope anyone who walks through the doors of the right agency. When I became the interim Executive Director in February of 2019, there were so many people in the community who did not have backgrounds, and they were knocked on the door and they were turned away for services. And so one of the first things I did was say, no, they're knocking on the door, that's cell phone. That was before COVID. And I'm so thankful that we did it because we were one of the few agencies in Overtown who remained open with the exception of 7 weeks during COVID. And that's a tremendous blessing for us and for the community. Although while we're located in Overtown, we service all of Miami-Dade County. We have participants come as far south as Florida City and as far north as West Palm Beach. So we're one of the few agencies that provide employment opportunities for justice involved and impacted people. I have an honor of serving as one of the leaders. Everyone on my team is a leader. And 6% of our team are people with lived experience. And I'm proud to say that because they understand the position of those who walk through the doors of the agency. Anyone in this room can be a superhero. All of us can be superheroes. What do the superheroes have to do with transition? And it's everything to do with transition
It's the reason why I wake up in the morning, is I'm gonna help someone with a problem. It could be a big problem, small problem. Before coming, just driving over here this afternoon, a father called, his son was being released, and he did not know where to send his son in terms of housing. We were able to provide an answer. We're a solution center, and we change lives each and every day. We're gonna go quickly through this. Next slide. We should get a code or something. Next. So I get us off our history. Mark Russell, I didn't miss one yet.
Yep.
That's our fearless leader who in 1974 created transition. He was an activist and a businessman, and he just wanted to help people. He thought that there was a place where people, back then they said ex-offenders, would get employment opportunity, employment training, like another path down, completing another offense would be reduced. Studies have proven him correct. And so the transition began simply with a team of volunteers who wanted to help other people. And we're still in the people business each and every day. Okay, our mission statement, we target youthful offenders, returning citizens on how to same with veterans, low-income individuals, anyone who knocks on the doors of our center, we help. That's a team of professionals. No one needs to know the office. Next, yeah, got stuck. So let me tell you a little bit about what we do. We eliminate employment barriers. So not having an ID is a barrier for you, we eliminate it. The DMV comes to our center once a month. Everything from birth certificates to work clothes, tours, job training opportunities, that's what we do. Yeah, let's skip. You know, some of the services include, we partnered with Miami-Dade County, the Miami-Dade County Correctional Rehabilitation Center. We provide workforce readiness training inside the center for young men and women who in the boot camp reentry program. We also partner with FRRC, talk about voting. Especially this election year. So even at our center, you can register to vote. For those who do not have, if they have a background and can't vote, we partner with FRRC to make certain that they can get their voting rights restored. That's significant. Wow. Next, if they want that, let's hit one. Chase Bank, we provide financial literacy training at our center once a month. We also offer through Miami-Dade College spiritual education training for our center. We have support groups. Come on back. The support group, we have the Journey, a support group for women. We have NANA, support group for men. We have grief and loss counseling in partnership with Abundant Living. And right now we have our first parenting class. We're excited to have that new partnership and offer those skills. Our job is to prepare people for the workforce, but to prepare them for life as well. That's what we do. Yeah, next, talked about that already. Educational opportunities. So if you need to get your GED, you want to go back to school, we're the place to come. If you want to get any kind of certification for security guard, forklift training, a number of trainings, please come see us and can help you with that as well. Yeah, and someone asks, well, how much does all of this cost? It's free. All of our services are free.
Well, it's a good participant.
And those are here. Yeah, we write those grants. Facebook and Instagram, those are our handles. Okay, so what's the best part of my job? If we walk it inside or outside of a Walmart and someone recognizes me and say, Mr. Gilmore, I came to your center, you helped me get a job and now I'm doing XYZ. I'm a superhero. They come, Mr. Gilmore, I reunited with my family because we provide those kind of services in our partnership with Abundant Living. Mr. Gilmore, I was having negative thoughts today. I was suicidal. And then I can take them to see our mental health therapist and give them the help that they need. I'm so appreciative that you created this space for us to share a little bit about our agency. We do tremendous work, but we have tremendous partners. And tomorrow we have our inaugural community partner appreciation breakfast. We're working in an industry that it takes a whole lot of effort, energy, mind space, and we just want to report into other agencies who do some of the work to us. So let them know that we see you. You are valuable to our community. Keep up the good work. And we just have you as a part of our partnership. Transition also serves as an anchor agency for an umbrella of Hope Reentry Coalition. That's over 80 nonprofits who are dedicated to uplifting and uniting our reentry community. We meet the second Thursday of every month at the Cornell Resource Center in the conference room at 1600 North First Spring Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33136. Thank you for having me join you today. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking for me. We give them a little those are social handles. Our number is 305-571-2001. My extension is 3007. Don't use it. You can use it. 305-571-2001. And we're located at 5050 Northwest 3rd Avenue, Building C, Miami, Florida, 33136. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, Rob, we have another.
No, this is hard.
Steven?
I'm not gonna remember what you just said. I'm the class president of a plan, nothing to you, right? I think.
You can also just Google Transition Aid. We have a beautiful website. We just revamped it. So there's a new one that's about to come up. And also, or email me. Come visit our center. I mean, it's pretty incredible what Steven does.
It's all over.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
home car.
There's a pop card in everyone's
Hard all over. Any
other questions?
questions? Oh. For this thing I did, more. Do you have say volunteers in your organization?
We just accept volunteers, and then a number of people come to us and to reform community service officers. So, yes, absolutely.
Also, we have a clothes closet, so that people have an outfit to do their first interview, and then also so that they have something to wear to a job to, their first day. So if anyone wants to give away their clothes or you're cleaning out your closet, we will accept them. We have volunteers that come in and organize those closets. So that is actually something else that volunteers do. And it brings so much joy to people to get that. We also have we do interview training with people before their first job. And so sometimes volunteers come in to do that. We've had people teach our financial literacy classes. I think it's more regular, but people have volunteered for that in the past. And just coming to our events and meeting with people.
Yeah. We're notorious to have an event because we're a part of the community, and so we definitely have our family fun day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we had in January our inaugural men's health symposium. In March, we had our women's health symposium. As a part of the Umbrella Folk Reentry Coalition, we had 2 reentry summits, one in Florida City and another in North Miami. We have things going on all the time. So,
and we always need volunteers.
We always need volunteers. We love our volunteers.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Like motivating. Shevrin, we're gonna have Shevrin up. Ready? Yeah. Okay. So tonight, we are vote for our members. If you want to join and haven't, you can join now if you're a Democrat. We are voting on a resolution to oppose the constitutional amendment against the property tax of limiting the homestead, which was changed, and DeSantis is unhappy, which is great for us, but it could still pass. We know that that's going to hurt our schools, our local funding, services like transitions. So we will be hearing from Senator Shevrin Jones. Evie, can you spotlight the senator? And Senator Shevrin Jones, if you are not aware, he represents Mid and North Beach. So half of Miami Beach. He is amazing. I love him. I'm being biased right now, but he does great for the beach in that neck of the woods. He unfortunately will not be our state senator anymore because he is running for Congress in the Congressional District 24. But he is still our senator right now, and we are honored to have him here tonight, and he's going to be talking about the property tax and himself. Thank you, Shevrin. I miss you. Thank you.
I miss you too, and I'm sorry I can't. Can you hear me?
Wait,
They're coming out of your.
yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
Of the audience.
Hold on. I don't know what to do.
Talk loud, Jeff.
Wait, can you try to talk?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Right.
First, Amanda, thank you so much. And I hate that I can't be there with you all, but I am in the middle of canvassing, and I actually just was able to get to one of the constituents' home who I know very well while I was canvassing, and she's allowed me to use her backyard to talk to y'all. And so I really appreciate it. And shout out to my good friend who he came out there to just see me today. I'm sorry, Mike. I promise you I owe you after I win this election that we'll hang out. So as I love you, and as it's good to see you all again. But I will be honest that it's always good to be with people who care enough to spend their evening talking about public policy. Because these are, I think these are the conversations that not just shape our future of our communities. It's actually what's happening right now. I mean, over the last several months, my office, we've been hosting town halls across the district on the proposed constitutional amendment because, I believe that Floridians, that we absolutely deserve more than just the campaign slogans. We deserve to understand exactly what they're being asked to vote on. I did one in Miami Gardens, and I just finished doing one in North Miami, and we're going to do one in Miami Beach, so people can absolutely know what's going on. And tonight, that's really my goal, is not to tell you how to vote. Now I'll tell you how Shevrin is voting. I'm voting absolutely hell no, but it's not to tell you how to vote, but to make sure that we're asking the right questions before we make a permanent change to Florida's Constitution. And I'll start by saying that I absolutely believe that property tax reform is needed. But the direction that the state of Florida has gone in, this has gone through a process. Mike knows this, and anybody else who have been through this process, you absolutely know that there is a process in how things should be placed on the ballot, or any policies that we want people to live by. They should go through the right process. Before I even get into any conversation of what this does, I want you all to imagine receiving a 22-page bill. Mike knows this, receive a 22-page bill, and you only have one day, not even a day, on the same day, and they asked us to vote on a 22-page document that we were supposed to send to you. And so, of course, I voted no on that because I don't think we should be sending bad policy to people to vote on. As we see people are struggling, we see the housing costs that's skyrocketed, we see the insurance premiums that's continuing to climb. We see the cost of living and outpacing wages. Like, these are the real problems, and we have a responsibility to respond to those things. The one thing I've learned during my 14 years in Tallahassee is that every budget tells a story about our priorities, right? And property taxes aren't just another tax. They are how cities and counties, how they keep our communities functioning, and they fund our police officers, they fund our fire rescue, they fund our road maintenance, they fund our parks and libraries. But listen to this: they fund our water quality, and other neighborhood services, and they help keep the local government responsive to the people who live here. Imagine living in a state currently right now to where we're talking about the elimination of the homestead taxes, and where we already live, where the governor have the ability to veto dollars where cities and counties are trying to fill gaps that they can't already fill from the taxes that are already coming in. So imagine a city like a Miami Gardens, or imagine a city like North Miami, or fill in the blank, and where now they need to fill a gap for an infrastructure project where they would usually pay for themselves or go half and half with the state. Now they're trying to get a full appropriation from the state that they themselves cannot cover because they don't have the taxes to cover. I want you to remember this number: $51 billion. The Policy Institute did a study and said that the state of Florida will have to figure out what and how they will recoup $51 billion worth of a gap. No one has been able to answer that question. No one has been able to share a true plan of what that looks like. And then the question now becomes, what happens, right? I mean, we need to ask the question beforehand: how much will I save, right? We also have to ask, What happens the day after? Here in Miami-Dade County, this conversation becomes even more personal. Let's talk about Jackson Health System. Jackson isn't simply just another hospital, and we know that. It's where our families go. It's the main hospital where where our children go. Jackson officials have warned, hear this, Jackson officials have warned the major reductions in local property tax revenue could translate into roughly $100 million a year in lost funding. That raises real questions about services. That raises real questions about staffing, and it also raises serious questions about long-term sustainability. Then you got the Children's Trust. You get the Children's Trust, and for almost 25 years, the Miami-Dade voters, we have chosen to invest directly in our children. Today, the Children's Trust generates about $226 million annually through its voter-approved property tax, with more than 90% of the budget going directly to services for children and families. Those investments did not happen by accident, you all. They happened because this community made a conscious decision that our children was worth investing in. If we reduce the property tax revenue, how do we continue to protect those investments? Whether we're talking about Children's Trust or whether we're talking about Jackson Health. Even the state economists, I sit on the Finance and Tax Committee, the state economists, when the question was asked about this proposal, when they asked will it reduce local government revenue, he said no. He said yes, it will. He said no, I'm sorry. But you know what this will do? He did not answer the question because we went back to do some research on ourselves that the proposal will reduce local government revenue by nearly $12 billion annually within 5 years if the voters approve this. Let's look at cities like El Portal. Let's look at cities like Pembroke Park. Let's look at cities like West Park, where their revenues are like El Portal. Their revenue is $3.2 million. The revenue in West Park is only $9.2 million. What happens to these cities? They will have to what? They will have to merge into the counties, or they will have to merge into another community. My argument is not the fact that we should not have a conversation of what we should be doing when it comes to property taxes. I absolutely believe that we should have a conversation of how we deal with property taxes and what we cover with property taxes. Is this the way to go? The answer is absolutely not. I think it's a bad idea. I think that this should go through the right process. I think that the legislators should allow the opportunity for this to go through the bill process, the amendment process, and the committee process so it can be vetted, so cities can come up to Tallahassee to talk about where and how this will affect them. And we're not just doing this because the governor is trying to get a political win, when in reality, it's not. The same individuals who vote for him, who will continue to vote for these Republicans, are the same individuals who are going to struggle if something like this passes. The last thing I'll say is this. Imagine this passes, and then in January, this will have to go before a Republican-led legislature to make a decision on how cities and counties are supposed to deal with now the loss of X, Y, and Z amount of revenue. And we're talking about a legislative body that has already, for the past, I've been in the legislature for 14 years, and every year they have taken power away from cities and municipalities by preempting them on what they can and they cannot do. And we're going to send a ballot initiative for them to make the rules on. That should also create a true alarm to each and every last one of us that this is not a good idea. I'll end the way I just said in the middle. I'm not saying that we should not have a conversation about how and what we need to do when it comes to property taxes in the state of Florida. But what I am saying is that we need to have an honest process that this goes through to ensure that we are not doing harm to those individuals who we know will fall victim to this, these individuals who will lose their homes, which is already a conversation that's happening in many communities because some people are already backed in their taxes. And they won't save a lot of money. We just did one, and even the property appraiser's office, they made it clear some people only save $200, $300. Now that's a lot for some people, and I'm not minimizing that, but we also have to be honest about the services that we really desire to have, and then we have to begin to balance what makes sense right now and what when I can live without. I know we can't live without fire. I know we can't live without police. The police pensions and fire pensions are tied to this. Our water quality, all these things are way too important for us to just say, yes, let's do this because the slogan, I'm going to save you money is what wins the day, and when it really doesn't.
Wait, can you hear me? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. We've been having sound problems all day. Thank you, Shevrin, so much. We really, really appreciate you. And, we hope you stay cool when you're knocking on doors out there.
I will listen. I will tell you all. We got some good news today. We are 11 points up in the poll right now, and let me tell you, if for those who can, for those who have capacity, go to chevronjones.com. We are on path to become the first openly LGBTQ person to represent in the Congress in the state of Florida, and I absolutely believe it's going to happen. And if you all can help me get there, it will be absolutely amazing. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate you, and we're rooting for you from Miami Beach. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, chills. So do I have a motion to approve our resolution to oppose the property tax? We have 3 people. For the record, I was Kevin, and do we have a second? Oh, nope, we have Lloyd Mandel. A big shout out to the hotel tonight, the Mandel family. This is our home, and we couldn't be here without them. We love them, and it's so great to be here. And if you are a member, come to our holiday party in the backyard at Christmas. With that, we have a motion on the floor. For the property tax, all in favor of the resolution? Any opposed? Nope, Zoom, Phoebe, all right, resolution passes. We will be sending that to our elected officials, all of our elected officials, including the city of Miami Beach commissioners and mayor, and we will be putting a press release out, so stay tuned. With that, I'm very privileged and excited to introduce Alex Vindman. He is running for U.S. Senate to bring a new generation of principled, service-driven leadership to Florida. He's a retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel and combat veteran. Vindman has dedicated more than 2 decades to serving our country, earning a reputation for integrity, courage, and putting the Constitution over politics. Widely regarded by many as an American hero, he became nationally known for standing up to the most powerful office in our country. I will not say that man's name. By reporting concerns about the actions of the White House during his military service, despite the personal and professional consequences. His campaign is focused on lowering costs, working for families, protecting Social Security and Medicare, defending reproductive freedoms, strengthening public education, supporting veterans, and safeguarding our democracy. Vindman believes Florida deserves a senator who will fight for everyday people, not special interests, and is committed to restoring trust in public service.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for the Miami Beach Democrats. Our hosts, Lloyd and Steve back there, thank you for helping plant the place for the Democrats to get together. So let me just start by saying this election, we say each election is critically important. I think it's completely without doubt that this election will determine whether this country is recognizable beyond 2026, beyond 2028. So, and in the case of my election versus my opponent, there's a real choice. You got Ashley Moody, corrupt career politician who's in the pockets of special interests. Every day that she's in office, she's costing me money. And I'm a 21-year Army veteran, combat veteran that served this nation throughout my professional life. Maybe a little bit about myself. My family came to the U.S. as refugees from the Soviet Union in 1979. It was Dad, my older brother, a twin brother, my grandmother, my dad's mother-in-law, who he did not get along with. She came with us. We landed with $750 in our pockets. It was dad sharing a single bedroom apartment with us three boys at the age of 47. Not sure how he felt about it. We thought it was fun. Dad hauled furniture for the first 6 months, and he didn't have command of the language. He had to learn English and then get to a level of proficiency to pass a civil service exam in New York City, land a union job, and that was frankly the start to our American dream story. That job provided him a safe work environment. He was the sole provider. My mother had passed away from cancer before we left the Soviet Union. He was working the tunnel system, so safety, if anything happened to him, the family would have been lost. And the union provided that. It provided healthcare, lots of emergency room visits in those early years. We were pretty rambunctious boys with a bunch of broken bones along the way. It provided guaranteed pay. He worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, got overtime, and that's how the family got started. Within the first couple of years, dad remarried, which we got the mom that raised us. We got a bonus brother out of that deal. All four boys served in the military. My twin brother and I made a career out of military service. Three of us in the Army, one Black Sheep Marine. Brothers, there you go. So I served as an infantry officer, airborne ranger, deployed to combat in Iraq, about 10 months into meeting my wife, Rachel, and she ended up getting that awful call. I was serving with the Marines in the Battle of Fallujah. I was wounded by an Iranian-made roadside bomb that punctured through the vehicle, and I still carry shrapnel in my leg and shoulder to this day. But I was actually the lucky one. The Marines sitting next to me were severely wounded. They were evac out of theater. So I understand the cost of war and the gravity of these decisions. And it really pisses me off that my opponent, Ashley Moody, voted 9 times to give this administration a free pass to start and to mismanage a war that's jeopardizing our national security. I'm a hell no for these thoughtless, dangerous wars of choice. My military career took me all over the place, served in Korea, Germany, served as a diplomat in embassies in Kiev, Ukraine, Moscow, Russia, assigned to the Pentagon, where I literally wrote the book on Russia. I authored something called the National Military Strategies, how do we contend with our kind of most serious threat. So I've tackled some serious problems. Based on that work, I was invited to the White House and I served on the National Security Council. The Army got it cheap. I was getting paid as a lieutenant colonel, but working as a 3-star equivalent as a director for European affairs. And in that assignment, having served this nation for 20 years, pledged an oath to support and defend the Constitution against enemies foreign and domestic, I witnessed and serving presidents of both parties, I witnessed a president commit an abuse of power, a corrupt act. I reported it. That triggered congressional hearings, that triggered an investigation, and that triggered an impeachment. And that also ended my military career. So after 21 years in service, my wife wanted to get away. She wanted to leave from politics, so we moved to Florida. I'm not sure exactly how this happens. Like a funny way of laughing at your plans, but we came here with my now 15-year-old daughter, my wife and I, after moving. At one point, we moved 11 times in 10 years. This was the first place we got a chance to choose where to live. We liked it so much, I convinced my dad, a diehard New Yorker, to move down here. He just turned 94 last month, but I'm paying half his rent for him to be able to afford to live here in Florida. My daughter, 15, she's going to make some decisions about 3 years about where she wants to live, what kind of life she wants to have. And things are not headed in the right direction. It's getting too darn expensive. There are not the job opportunities there should be for a state of 23 billion, $1.7 trillion economy. It's the sky's the limit. Anything she wants to do, she should be able to do here. But that's not where we're headed. And we all know why. Because corrupt career politicians are delivering for power. They're delivering for special interests. They're delivering for billionaires. They're delivering millionaire tax cuts while the rest of us are losing access or our insurance is going on. My opponent, Ashley Moody, she landed that job
as an appointed senator, after signing off on $10 million coming out of a child welfare fund, child health welfare fund, to be transferred over for a political campaign, and her payoff was that appointment, senator appointment. When she was an attorney general, she took more than $1 million from the big insurance companies. We have the most expensive insurance rates in the country. She did not challenge them when they failed to pay their claims. She did not challenge them when they raised the rate hikes. Our rates are sky high here. When she won that, when she, stole that Senate seat, when she was appointed after a corrupt scheme, did she start to deliver for the people of Florida? No. She traded $2 million in stocks. That was her first order of business, trading $2 million in stocks on insider information only Congress gets. That's wrong. That's illegal. People should go to, that should be legal. I'm going to make sure it's illegal. People should be going to jail for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a penny from special interests, from corporate tax. I'm not in the pocket of anybody. I've served this nation before, and I'm ready to fight for people in Florida. And we really have, it doesn't have to be this way. It sure doesn't. We're celebrating our 250th anniversary, this country. And it should be a recognition of the fact that this country is special and unique. I, as an immigrant, recognize that, serving this country in a war, serving this country under the watchful eyes of the Russians and authoritarian regimes. I understand how special and unique it is. We still have a long way to go before we create that more perfect union, but this country is pretty special. As much as we should be celebrating the last 250, it should be a conscious decision of us to revitalize and revive our democracy, to make sure that we're working hard to create that more perfect union. There is no reason why we shouldn't be securing, making sure that our Social Security is solid, making sure that we have high quality education, making sure that we're expanding healthcare to more Americans, not shrinking it so like this we can give $1 trillion in tax cuts to the billionaires. These are the things that we should be doing. We should be figuring out how to make life more affordable, lower homeowners insurance rates that are crushing folks here in Florida. It's pretty shocking that I could go to almost any part of the state, and I've had more than 200 events across the state of Florida. I can go to places like the Villages and connect with folks, even those folks waiting in line to see the President Trump at his rally. I actually walked that line of folks waiting to get into that rally. Pretty sure I'm the only candidate to do that. And where we were connecting was the fact that these folks were also feeling the pain. Their neighbors are leaving the state because it's too expensive. They came here on fixed incomes. They had a plan. That plan is out the window because we have the highest insurance rates. Their kids are leaving the state because the opportunities over here. It's too expensive. So we have a unique opportunity to change this direction, this state and the country. And we can do that by participating in our elections. How many folks in this room are going to come out and vote on election day? Yeah. How many folks are ready to commit and bring 2 or 3 of their friends and neighbors to join? I'll give you the same number of hands. All right, I'll give you the same number of hands. Now the next hard thing. Take a look at I don't think there are too many folks with their Donald Trump signs here, but take a look at those your folks that took down their Donald Trump signs. That's a cry for help. That's an opening for you to come up to them and talk to them and say that there's a different future ahead. I'm Alex Vindman. I'm running to be your senator, your fighter in the Senate, and I appreciate your vote. Appreciate your financial support. Whatever way you could participate. We have a primary election coming up on August 18th. We have a general election, so could use your vote on those 2 occasions, and then sign up and volunteer with us. Well, we've got plenty of jobs to do in order to make sure we deliver a Democratic win for this campaign and down the ticket. So thank you again, Alex Vindman, running for U.S. Senate. So I think we have time for questions.
Yes. Questions? Okay.
One of the things you talked about is education, and that's my most important thing. I'd like to know what you're going to be doing for education, what you would like to have passed, how you intend to do it.
Yeah. So a couple of different things. I'm going to be at the statewide PTA assembly in Orlando to kind of lay out a bigger case here. But for me, it's certainly about quality K through 12. I think that we are stealing from our public schools $4.1 billion have been taken away from our public schools and to provide vouchers. The problem, one of my fundamental issues is it seems completely unfair that public schools are held to the highest standards. Students have to pass exams. The schools have to deliver a curriculum. They have to deliver a whole range of different issues, but we're taking about a quarter of the budget away from our public schools with no guardrails. So that's one thing that we could do at the national level. Make sure that if we're living in a world in which folks feel absolutely, because families are trying to do the best thing that they can for their kids. And if we're living in a world in which vouchers are part of the solution because schools, it's a vicious cycle of schools, failing because the budgets are being slashed. There should be guardrails. There should be some sort of way to hold these programs accountable so that they're delivering high quality education. So that's one thing that we could do at the national level. I think K through 12 is non-negotiable. I'm thinking bigger picture of what we should be doing with regards to education. We should be thinking about lifelong learning. We're in an era in which the pace of change seems to be, it's hard for workers to keep up. Unless we're investing in job training and retraining programs, including in partnership with industry, we're leaving folks behind. We know what the consequences of that have been. We had a rust belt in which, millions of people lost their jobs as we deindustrialized. We were facing similar challenges on the horizon with regards to artificial intelligence. We should be making investments to plan ahead and to retool our workforce for the 21st century. I think the other thing we should be thinking about is trades. We are underinvesting in trades. We should be thinking about ways that we could make sure folks, if they choose to not pursue a college degree, that there are trades that they can get into that still provide absolutely critical, high quality, good paying jobs. I think that's the way top. Yeah.
Great, man.
Thank you. I'm really excited to see you running for the Senate. And my question is, for the past year and a half, Ashley Moody has been our senator. I have literally called her office at least once a month. That office has never, ever picked up the phone. Never returned my calls. The woman is completely absent. I think there's a great opportunity for someone just like you to step up and fill the void. The only time I saw her was when she came down with the acting attorney general because they were going to Vancouver or something, some stupidity like that. So she is such an easy target. How are you going to, like in 3 bullet points, highlight what I'm missing in action this woman is for our state?
So I want to answer 2 questions for you. The first one's about representation and making sure that you actually have somebody that you have a concern. Somebody is there to listen to that concern, not respond with a BS letter. In this case, not even respond to your phone calls. This is the issue, is that we've got all these elected officials here, but they're not working for us. They're working for power. They're working for the billionaires. They're working for special interests. So being able to win and deliver the Senate seat, being able to drive attention and deliver a whole slate of Democrat of victories in congressional seats, we have some awesome candidates that are competing this time around. That means that you actually have real representation. That means that if you have a concern, it's addressed by somebody, not like that they're absent like we're seeing with Ashley Moody. The other thing that you asked is how do we win in this environment? I think what I sensed even before I launched my campaign is that we're in an environment in which folks are ready for a different kind of candidate. They're ready for change. They're ready for somebody that has a proven track record of fighting for this country, of taking on some of the most serious challenges, certainly from a national security perspective. I sense that. And it's been validated in the 200 events that we've done. It's been validated to date. We've had 400,000 contributions to this campaign, averaging less than $40. That's a huge amount of grassroots support. Including this, to answer your question, 7% of my contributions have come in from inside the state of Florida from registered Republicans. Another 13 have come in from independents. That is a huge number. And And the connection actually isn't necessarily about policy. The connection is about a new brand of politics. It's about making sure that you have real representation, that folks are not beholden, that the elected official is not beholden to special interests, to the billionaire class, to insurance companies, that there was actually a fighter for the voters. So I think that's the connection that I'm making based on character and integrity that I've delivered over the course of my career, being dragged into the public eye, kicking and screaming, but that's, I guess, the behavior that people connect with. So I see an environment that's ripe for change. I see that my biography coming to this country as a refugee, it's a real American story of coming to this country as a refugee and ending up in the White House on the National Security Council. And I see a contrast with a corrupt politician that has cost Floridians money every day that she's there and lacks any vision about what we should be doing for the future. And I've laid out a pretty robust vision. If you go to my website, alexvindman.com, you'll see a Florida First agenda in there. And it talks about insurance, it talks about healthcare, it talks about education in greater detail than I lay out here. And that's just the beginning. I mean, one of the things I pride myself on is, being a problem solver. So I'm not intimidated by the fact that we've failed to deliver on, immigration reform. I'm not intimidated by the fact that both parties have failed to deliver, adequately for health insurance. These are the things that I want to be able to take on. And that's frankly one of it's really one of the honors of being able to jump into this role and represent 23 million Floridians. If we were a country, our economy would be the 15th largest in the world.
Oh, right here.
Please.
Hello, I'm excited about your Senate race. It'd be cool to take Florida back from the Republicans. I don't think the state should be abandoned by Democrats. So question for you. Donald Trump was elected in 2016, as everybody knows, right? And you personally witnessed how disastrous his first term was. And after his first term, we had Joe Biden and the Democrats in power for 4 years. Clearly, after those 4 years were up, the electorate decided, right, that they wanted to take another shot at Donald Trump, despite the fact that his first term was as disastrous as it was. What do you think were the potential mistakes that the Democrats made while they were in power that led to the conclusion that we reached today? And what would you do differently as a senator to address some of these potential mistakes?
Yeah, I think frankly for me it's all about looking forward. I take lessons from the past, but it's all about going forward. I think for me, I absolutely have a strong conviction that the electorate today is very much focused on they're living, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. They're looking to, figuring out who is going to deliver some financial relief in the state of Florida. That is absolutely a connection that folks are willing to make and look past party politics. I see that when I travel the state. And I think that, this is an interesting point of connection. When I go talk to independents and Republicans, they'll tell me about, the fact that they're working really hard and they're trying to do everything that they can for their family. They're putting in the work. They're putting in the reps, but they're falling further and further behind. And then it's a clarity that no matter what they do, they're falling further behind because corrupt career politicians are delivering power. So one of the key things I can do is not be beholden to special interests, not be beholden to corporate interests or billionaire class. It's one of the beautiful things about being a grassroots driven campaign with 400,000 contributions powering this campaign. So that kind of different brand of politics, I think, is essential. I think my information is possible. I don't think they have all the answers, but what I'll do is I'll undertake the effort to understand the issues as best as possible, and then based off of that work, come to a conclusion, and not just do the things that I think need to happen. There has to be give and take. Sometimes politicians, I think my view of leadership, having served in leadership roles throughout my career, is leaders do more than just kind of time. You can't do that completely opposite the interests of the electorate. So what I intend to do is the same things I've been doing during the course of my campaign. I've traveled across the state. I want to hear what's on folks' minds. So between that kind of grassroots feel, understanding where folks are, and the ability to kind of try to point in the right direction, making decisions informed, you know, exercising that kind of judgment is the kind of leadership I want to exercise.
We have time for one more.
Okay.
I would like to know where would how can I purchase a, Alex Vindman magnet for my car? Because I live in a condominium, I'm the president, and there's no solicitation.
Yep.
But it looks pretty good
Yeah.
for the president to be wearing your hat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's
No problem with purchase.
awesome. Sounds good. You go to Alex. Thank you for your support. If you go to alexvindman.com, we have all sorts of merch and swag up there. That young lady over there is the one that's been working on it for us. Like stickers are flying off of the shelf like hotcakes, aren't they? Yeah, good stuff. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming out tonight. I just wanted to ask, I know no president on the ballot this year, off your election, usually a lower turnout. So what's your plan for engaging those low propensity voters, driving turnout, and engaging on social media as well?
Yeah. So what this, I mean, this the benefit. One of the benefits of like having my career, I served as a strategist, undertaking some of these really serious efforts. Yeah. And what I find is, it takes a combination of the things I learned out as a military officer. The battlefield circulation, 200 events I've done. What I've been able to detect is a extremely high level of interest in Democrats. Democrats are ready to walk over hot coals to deliver for Democrats. They're willing to walk over hot coals to deliver for the campaign. So I think that is, that's a clear sense for me. We're seeing it also in the grassroots support. The trick is going to be that doesn't get you that far in the state of Florida. You need to figure out how to build the biggest tent possible. You connect with independents and Republicans. I'm sensing that there are going to be Republicans that cross over. We've seen that actually substantively in those two special elections that we had in Palm Beach and Hillsborough. There was a significant crossover. The guy that won the state Senate seat, Brian Nathan, he says that 20% of the Republicans that showed up voted for him. So making sure that you put a good candidate in front of him that's pretty darn level-headed, mission-focused, figuring out how to provide relief is going to be important. The independents are the toughest one, frankly, in a lot of ways, because they're not ideologically driven. These are folks that are just trying to get by, living their lives and struggling. That's why this campaign is going to cost, $70 million, because it's going to just take an enormous amount of effort to reach those folks. But this is the way that the wind's going to come together. Democrats showing up in force, independents showing up in a way that we've seen them show up across the country, but also in the state of Florida, and Republicans either staying at home and crossing over. That's what's going to come up. That's what we're going to see in November.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang on, I gotta put my passport in.
Oh my gosh, somebody, sorry, Margo. McCain. Tim, board member, Linda, board, Kevin, Shannon, board. I was. Come on. Oh, I'm ready. No. Thank you. What an honor.